Your Excellencies, my name is Adrian MînNIUČIU, host of today's energy panel in a very troubled time. Energy is a weapon, energy is a shield, energy is a very strategic card to be played currently, not only in the Black Sea region, but especially in the Black Sea region here in Europe. You might wonder why this panel. So we have two major projects that will reshape the entire area, two major projects going on. Neptun Deep is one of it, starting to produce gas early next year. And of course, Sakarya approaching phase 3, the Turkish project. There are a few strategic questions that I would like to answer today with you, together with you, Your Excellencies. For example, to what extent can the Black Sea offshore energy resource meaningfully contribute to Europe's long-term energy security, but also geopolitical security? We have to identify the current risks, of course, and we have to identify how the littoral states can cooperate, and of course, the cooperation with Ukraine. Hopefully, a Ukraine not only approaching peace, but embracing peace very, very soon. So let me introduce today's panel guests. I'm very honored to have His Excellency Ambassador Lazăr COMânNESCU, Secretary General of the Organization of the Black Sea Economic Cooperation. Also, Ambassador Tacan ILDEM, Chairman of the Center for Economics and Foreign Policy Studies from Türkiye. Mr. Bogdan Ivan, former Minister of Energy, also Mr. Vladimir Kiril, Mr. Kiril RAVNACHKI, also joining us in this panel, and Alexandru MAXIMESCU, Vice President of OMV Petrom, operator, of course, of the Neptun Deep project. So, starting. I would like a very short comment from all of you in the panel regarding today's topics, and then we'll have some questions prepared, and also hopefully from the audience, inviting you, Excellency, to have a first grasp and short comment on the. How many minutes? Let's say 2, 3, 4 minutes each, between 2 and 4 minutes each.
Thank you very much. First of all, allow me starting by saying that, as an inhabitant of Bucharest, it's always good for me to be back home. But when I say back home, it's not just for the sake of the fact that my house is here, but also I feel at home when I'm with the New Strategy Center. Not least as a self-suspended member of the scientific board of this, but you know, under my current position, I had to self-suspend myself. But it doesn't mean that I'm not following with interest developments and projects developed, implemented by the NSC, and that brings me to really congratulate the Center for having introduced on the agenda of this session of the forum, the issue of energy. Because when talking about security, I hope you'll agree with me that, well, of course, under the current circumstances, it's understandable that a lot of discussion and debate, deliberations are on the so-called hard security dimension. But I hope that everybody will agree with me that we should not neglect that there is also a very important economic dimension of security. And when I say economic dimension of security, of course, I here include energy as well, because at the end of the day, economy means energy. Without energy, you cannot develop economy. So once again, I really congratulate the Center for having put this on the agenda. And well, there is a third reason why I'm happy to be here, because you may not be surprised that the organization which I have the honor to represent has as one of its priority areas of action is exactly energy, developing the cooperation in the Black Sea area, in the wider Black Sea area, all the more so as there are untapped already, still untapped, but soon tapped important sources of energy. And I am glad to see that progress is done in this respect. And I will conclude this part of my comments. I would like to stress how important it is in all these endeavors to keep to the principle of regional ownership. And then I see, and that makes me being, optimistic in this respect, as I see that there are very important projects developed either through cooperation or individually by the member states of this organization. I'm first and foremost referring to, of course, my country, but Türkiye as well. The two big projects about to be starting, fueling energy, Neptune Deep and Zakaria are there, but there are other opportunities as well. But I will elaborate perhaps a little bit more when you may give me again the floor. Thank you.
Ambassador ILDEM, please, your introductory thoughts.
Well, first of all, it is such a pleasure for me to sit at this panel because my think tank, Center for Economics and Foreign Policy Studies in Istanbul, is partnering with New Strategy Center for this panel. But not only that, we, since 2023, also together with our Bulgarian colleagues at the Sofia Security Forum, developed two reports. One was on the general Black Sea security, which produced one idea of mine countermeasure task force concept. So we own it. But thanks to our governments, they also accepted the idea quite viable, that they saw to it that now it is a reality. And second report was on energy security, because the security metrics have changed in recent years, especially with the introduction of hybrid tactics in our literature more and more. It is not new, but it is systematically used, and energy is one important element. And there are developments like, as the Secretary General referred to, Neptune Deep and Sakarya perimeters. What we need to do is to consider these production and extraction activities together with protection of the critical infrastructure. These two are two faces of one coin. And I think we have to more and more take care of the protection issue more seriously, given the fact that the hybrid threats that we are facing, and we will face even more so, which will remain under the threshold of Article 5, this would pose an important challenge. And we require to perhaps replicate what we have achieved with mine countermeasure trilateral cooperation, to expand it to protection of critical infrastructure, because there would be vulnerabilities during the development phase, during the time when pipelines are built, and we need to make sure that we have a secure environment to protect it. My third element is to reinforce the idea of regional ownership, because we are the countries sitting in this geography. We know the requirements more than anyone else. And our cooperation, trilateral cooperation, will yield results. In doing so, first we will definitely work as riparian allied nations, but always with the idea to keep in mind our Ukrainian friends, to keep them in the picture. Of course, Georgia is another country in the region, but definitely in this collaborative effort, we should not lose sight of their presence and contributions to whatever project that we could embark upon now and in the future.
Thank you, Ambassador. Minister, you served during a very troubled year as energy minister, of course. Fuel price spikes, the war in the Middle East, of course the Ukrainian war still going on, but at the same time, Romania consolidating its role as a major stable player in the area. How will the situation change now that we expect first gas next year coming from the Black Sea?
Thank you, Mr. M讐NIUșIU. Thank you, New Strategy Center. Hello to everyone part of the panel. Of course, when you speak about energy, it's not about molecules of gas, it's not about physics, it's about democracies and the resilience of economies and governments. And in that new paradigm, is definitely that something far away in the Middle East could affect a lot our economies worldwide, despite the fact that we are not depending by imports straight from Hormuz or Middle East. In this new context, the vision of Green Deal, which today every one of us could consider that was a failed bid, we are in the front of a new reality. And in that new context, I see a lot of opportunities. If you refer to Black Sea and Romania, definitely we have that huge, important project, Neptun Deep, made it by Romgaz, state-owned company, and OMV Petrom. And starting with next year, that will bring more than 8 BCM in Romanian and in the region market. And that means almost doubling the entire Romania production, which today it's around 10 BCM per year. In that new context, obvious, Romania will be the largest gas producer from European Union. And it's a huge advantage for our economy. Second, once we are increasing the energy security of Romania, we are increasing the energy security of European Union. We are cutting off all dependencies from Russia. And that's the main message for the entire European Union. But that's only the start, because in this moment, Romania have around 22,000 square kilometers in economic exclusive zone. And we are exploring less than 20%. So we have a lot of exploring space in Black Sea, Romanian economic exclusive space, where we could go and to drill after new gas resources. And that's one. The second one is offshore wind opportunities. Since I left 2 weeks ago the office from Ministry of Energy, we left over there all the procedures started for perimeters for offshore wind energy. And that could start this year, and the opportunity, it's up to 35 giga. It's a huge opportunity in that manner. And the third one, we have Cernavodă power plant, one of the greatest in the world. With our 2 reactors, we are producing around 20% of our Romanian production of energy. And we are number 1 and number 3 worldwide as productivity of nuclear power plant with that 2 reactors. And 1 month ago, when I was in the United States, we have an agreement with World Bank Group, with IFC and with US Exim Bank to finance refurbishment of Unit 1 of Cernavodă power plant and to build Unit 3 and 4. That will double our energy production of nuclear energy. And getting back to the 4th point, and I stop here, it's the way that we are working with our neighbors in the Black Sea, with Turkey, with Georgia, with Azerbaijan, with Kazakhstan. We are working and we put in the European grid finance for green corridor from Azerbaijan to Georgia and to Romania with a cable set it at 4,800 megawatts, which will provide baseload energy for Romania and for our neighbors. And it's a huge step forward, and we have finance for that project. And in the end, what we're making with that energy, beyond industry, beyond householders, we could bring most added value in AI. And we start last year one big project, a gigafactory, 5 billion euros, starting with 100,000 GPU. And in this moment, the Ministry of Energy are making selection for the leader of the consortium. And with that, we are positioning Romania, together with our neighbors, as first of a kind of that project in entire Central and Eastern Europe. And we are working with Turkey, with Bulgaria, with Ukraine, and with Moldova on that important project. So it's about future.
I will get back to the transatlantic nuclear cooperation and to the program itself, to the new investments coming shortly. Mr. MAXIMESCU, maybe a short operation from an operational point of view, a short introduction from an operational point of view, regarding, of course, the gas coming next year.
Hello, also from my side, and thank you to New Strategy Center and to Mr. Scutaru for maintaining energy as a focus of these debates. I think it's important to have them, especially in these very complicated times that we are living. I think the new norm is a crisis after the other. This is the new norm. It's good to see our partners here from Türkiye, from Bulgaria, the former minister with whom we worked very closely and very effectively in order to bring forward all the major energy projects in Romania, and especially Neptun Deep, where we have with our partner ROMGAZ a very good cooperation to bring forward Neptun Deep and first gas into 2027. Perhaps before giving you a very short update of where the project is, two remarks. It's very good to see that countries around the Black Sea are aligned in order to a common vision to defend energy assets in the Black Sea. I think it's not only for us important, but for the region and the Southeastern Europe as such. And this gives us confidence. And I can only encourage our ministers, our authorities to work closer together into putting an operational model of how those assets can be better protected together. Now, coming to our project, it's a constant in these debates at the New Strategy Center, and I'm very happy to be able to report to you some further progress of the project. As you know, Neptun Deep is in the economic exclusive zone of Romania. We are since more than 1.5 years in implementing this project. South of Neptun Deep, we have another offshore perimeter that we are exploring right now in Bulgaria. Perhaps you have heard, it made the news a few weeks ago, that our exploration wells that we drilled were not successful, unfortunately. But this is life of an oil and gas company. Exploration is part of the business. It comes with a lot of risk, with a lot of risk capital. Sometimes you are successful, sometimes not. But in the end, this is our role, and we will continue explore the Black Sea. As the minister has said, there is a lot of still of potential in the Black Sea. In the next period, we are planning to drill another exploration well in the Neptun Deep area together with ROMGAZ, the Anaconda prospect. And Let's hope that this time we will be more successful. Geology sometimes can play you, but you have to, I think, continue believing and looking for the best prospect. Okay, I don't know exactly what is happening with the next slides. Why I think it's important sometimes. Thank you. This is our model, how we are developing the project. As you can see, we have two areas of where we are drilling the production wells. One is in the deep part of the Black Sea, so water depths of more than 1,000 meters. The other part is in the shallow waters. Everything will be connected via 160 kilometers long pipeline towards the metering station. And the production will start in 2027. Here are some, I think, insightful picture of vessels that are already present in the Black Sea and are working on the project. We have officially started laying down the pipeline connection from the metering station towards the production wells. So very intenseful period for the project in order to conclude it in time and in budget. One important fact about Neptun Deep is the following. The very low carbon intensity of the project. If you look at the left side of this slide, the GHG emissions of Neptune compared to the global offshore average is very, very low, 8 times lower than the average of other similar projects worldwide. So also from this perspective, this project is very unique. In order to conclude, I would like to highlight two important things about the project. The project as such, of course, has a unique and is a unique opportunity for Romania, but it will transform Romania into a security supplier of the region. It will change a lot of gas influxes in the region. And I think it is important that we play this role in the region. This is part of the Romanian influence, I think, in the region for more energy security. Perhaps one final statement. This is one of the vessels that is taking right now part in the implementation of the project. Right now, we have more than 15 vessels that are working for the project. We will have a peak of these activities over the next months, and by the end of the year, the implementation phase should be close to being finalized. I would like to stop here. Thank you very much, and if there are questions, I'm very happy to answer. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this rather comprehensive introduction you gave us. Moving forward to Mr. Kiril RAVNACHKI, Executive Director of Bulgartransgaz. There are some specific questions that we need to discuss today, but first, as an introduction from your side, how does it look from your control room in terms of how the region will be changed next year as gas from the Black Sea will start to flow?
First of all, thank you very much for the opportunity to be here today with so many esteemed colleagues and policymakers. I think maybe the most important thing that we need to start with is the idea is that Black Sea and the Balkans are turning from a periphery into a strategic pillar into the European energy security. For decades, our region has been more like a transit corridor, and recently we are turning into a production site for the whole of Europe. We are a platform for a regional cooperation that's of vital importance for the whole energy security of Europe. And when we speak about Black Sea, I think there is a tremendous opportunity because when we speak about energy in Europe, we always use the three words diversification, security of supply, and affordability. And I think with the production of gas specifically, because I'm a gas person coming from TSO, gas TSO, I think the local production of gas in the Black Sea is advancing exactly those three things. We have a shortened supply chain, which is affecting the affordability. And most importantly, we're having lower geopolitical dependence. Those two together bring the market more predictability. And predictability is a vital thing for the businesses, for the end consumers, and everyone that's involved in a society in general. And those projects that we speak about now, today, they're not just theoretical projects. They're tangible projects that would affect the security of supply, not for our countries, but also whole of Europe. Speaking about the commodity, a logical question would be whether the local production would somehow compete with the LNG, and I don't think the answer is yes to this. It's exactly the opposite. I think those two can complement each other so well that we can build a resilient energy foundations that are good for our countries. And I'm sure everyone in the room would agree that there is not a single source of energy that can guarantee energy security. It's a combination and balance of different energy sources. Historically, this was proven. If we look the past through two energy transitions that we've been through, 18th, 19th, and 20th century, namely wood to coal and coal to oil, they were namely energy additions rather than transitions, so not omitting previous type of sources. And last point as a start would be, if we have the commodity, equally important is the infrastructure and how the commodity is delivered to the places where it's needed the most. So in that sense, from Bulgartransgaz perspective, we've been building for the past 10 years a lot of investment projects, good interconnection points with all the neighboring countries, and currently I would call it the energy highway, which is the vertical corridor, and maybe a bit later I'll speak about it a bit more. So thank you.
Ambassador, coming back to you, and of course speaking about your diplomatic past, but also from the perspective of your seat at the SEC. Is Europe finally treating the Black Sea as a strategic priority, finally, or are we still patching together regional responses for each crisis? And what needs to be done in order to act as one?
I'll come back to it. I'll try to answer to your question. Sorry.
Yeah, please.
But before that, if you allow me telegraphically 4 very, very brief points. And I'll start by picking up from what Ambassador ILDEM was referring to, that making use of the resources in the Black Sea, energy resources, is not just only a matter of extraction. It is equally very important as well that the activities aimed at extracting gas and so on have to go hand in hand with enough preoccupation for saving, protecting, preserving the general environment in the Black Sea. environment, the Black Sea is a delicate ecosystem. And I think that this is an important point which has to be taken into account. Second, again, picking up from the ambassador, it's about you extract energy, but in order to use it, you have to transport it. So the safety of transport and supply, all the infrastructure, therefore, that has to be strongly developed and protected. Third point, okay, organizations like mine and individual activity by member states or by countries in the region are extremely important, are of primary importance. But at the same time, you have to take into account that there are other regional organizations where energy is also high on the agenda. I'm referring, for example, the Southeast Cooperation Process, Southeastern Europe Cooperation Process, Central European Initiative, the 3SI, 3Cs Initiative. All these organizations of platforms, they are placing energy up on the agenda. There is need of synergy, at least for better use of resources in developing projects in this respect. That's an important point. And my fourth point is that I would say that there is an important element of, as I already mentioned here, at the end of the day, what counts is the regional ownership. And therefore, when I'm talking about better synergies and coordinations with other international organizations, I'm referring to the fact that particular attention should be taken, and or better said, in any enterprise in this respect, one should take stock and build upon what has been built by the countries in the region. The regional ownership is extremely important. And now that brings me to your question. I very much welcome the fact that, for example, the European Union last year adopted a new strategic approach towards the Black Sea region. And that means that the Black Sea region means something important for the European Union. But there, I think that in order to implement, in the panel in the morning, there was mention about the importance of implementing this new strategy of the European Union. The European Union should take due account and build upon what is being done in this region. Because, as it was said already here, the best knowledge about what is in the region, what is in the region can be made use of, comes from the countries from the region. And this is an extremely important point. And I am looking forward to see that in the implementation process of the European Union regarding to the strategy of the EU with regards to the Black Sea, this aspect will be appropriately reflected in any endeavor thereon. That's all I want to say.
Thank you. But following up on this, Ambassador Ilem, the NATO summit in Ankara is weeks away, early July. So from a Turkish perspective, from a Turkish strategic perspective, what should the alliance be expected to deliver on the Black Sea maritime security and on protecting offshore energy and subsea infrastructure? And where is a realistic burden sharing with the EU to be expected? So what has the alliance to do? What are your expectations? Let's put it even in a wishful thinking format. How should it look like?
Well, first, if I may react to a couple of points, then I will come to the summit. First, I think that the offshore extraction by individual littoral states like Romania, Bulgaria, and Türkiye is very important to reduce dependency. And it also adds to capacity of resilience. But for that to be effective, we should also look at different important areas. You rightly said synergy to be created in different initiatives. Energy security and connectivity in general go hand in hand. We cannot separate one from another. Therefore, while tackling with the connectivity issue, we applaud the 3Cs initiative, which is a very important endeavor. But there is also another important initiative to be followed up vigorously. It's Middle Corridor. And I think synergy can be brought about between the two initiatives. They are not competing with each other. They are complementing each other. If we have such a mindset of cooperation, I think we can achieve more. Regarding the summit meeting, we have to be very realistic because the attention span of some of our leaders are rather short, and they can only concentrate for a few hours for a specific topic, and they cannot have a long list of issues to be tackled. First and foremost, the unity and cohesion among allies and maintaining transatlantic bond as strong as ever would be the first priority. Second would be, since one important leader would be looking at it by heart, it is the burden shifting. So European allies together with Canada to do more in terms of security and defense of the continent, the European continent. The third issue, of course, threats and challenges emanating from the south. We cannot just focus on one direction, but rather to have a 360-degree approach. It would be important. Now, coming to Black Sea relevant issues, of course, our leaders would be cognizant of the importance of Black Sea as a strategic region, especially at a time when we have systemic competition. It's a geopolitical reality. But on that, you refer to the European Union. European Union should also be aware of the importance of some of the regional players. Since we talk about regional ownership, I must say it is a critical voice, perhaps. I have to add to the discussion. The European Union, while developing this sort of approach or strategy related to Black Sea, had not consulted Turkey properly. It was too late and too little.
But do you expect this to change in a very near future?
It depends on the European Union whether it wants to play a geopolitical role, as it claims, or be hostage to lowest common denominator policies dictated by national priorities. This is the decision to be made by the European Union.
Thank you, Ambassador. Minister, coming back to you, because as I told you before regarding the nuclear program, during your mandate, if I'm not mistaken, $3.5 billion in energy-related investments were secured coming from the United States. So, and it includes the nuclear sector and the Cernavodă project, but also gas projects and so on. Basically, how important is currently the American security and the American investment umbrella? Because we all know we kicked ExxonMobil out of Europe a few years ago. How important is this American security and investment umbrella for the actual viability of the Black Sea region? And is this umbrella something we can take for granted?
We could take for granted if we are moving with the same speed as US are moving during these days. We have EU resources, and we will cover a lot of renewables with EU resources, and that's a fact, and it's a very good one. But for nuclear, we don't have that kind of financial instruments to finance refurbishment and production of nuclear energy power plant. So that's why I started to negotiate with World Bank Group, and 1 month ago when I was to Washington, D.C., I met the chairman of World Bank Group, Ajay Banga, and I have a very good discussion related with the final decision, which will be taken official in the board, but that will be officially announced during this summer. The fact that after 40 years, first country in entire world where World Bank will put money for nuclear energy will be Romania. And that's a huge news. And related with that, the entire world understand how important is base load energy and nuclear energy. I think Europe make a huge mistake when we choose to bring out the coal, when we choose to bring out the nuclear, and to focus only on renewables without storage. And we see now that the price of energy as average increased in less than 10 years with 40% at EU level, with 70% at Romanian level. And that means our productivity decrease significant. So in that new paradigm, together with Rafael Grossi, the General Secretary of International Atomic Agency, we're making a lot of push on the US side. And in this moment, the most important part of Romanian financing of nuclear project, it's coming from United States of America. And we are discussing about interest rate around 1%, comparing with 6 or 7% which Romanian Ministry of Finance are getting interest rate right now. So it's important, but we should move very fast with Unit 1, with Unit 3 and 4, with SMR project, straight in the same business with AI Factory and AI Gigafactory, because we want to bring most added value for that energy. I fully agree, I respect the agriculture, it's very important. I gave you right now an example. If we're getting cheap energy for farms, maybe we'll have a stake with 1 or 2 lei lower price. But if we're getting that energy to AI Factory and AI Gigafactory, we're positioning Romania part of the leading countries in the next 10, 20, 30 years.
Thank you, Minister. Mr. RAVNACHKI, gas transmission infrastructure is currently and will remain a target given the times that we have to live through. So we have seen this in the Baltic, we have seen this in the North Sea, Nord Stream, and so on. So what is the level? I'm very interested in finding out what is the level currently of cooperation between your company, Bulgartransgaz, between the Romanian company, Transgaz, between the Turkish company, BOTAŞ, and maybe the Ukrainian operators. I don't know how far this goes currently. And is it actually enough to handle and to tackle all the threats, be it a hybrid threat or a real physical military threat? So I'm referring to actual attacks.
Yeah, having a strategic asset means you have a strategic target. That's the thing. I think
with a huge regional impact. It's not.
Yeah, and I think in the only way to deal with this and to hedge on that type of risk is to have a cooperation. Without the cooperation, you can't do it on your own. The company cannot do it on their own. And it's not just cooperation on companies level. I think it's cooperation on governments and republic level, and also cooperation, I would even say, EU and NATO level. These are the things that are important for such type of threats, because they're there. You have threats for the offshore platforms, you have threats for compressor station, subsea pipelines, all this stuff, and the only way we can deal with this is to cooperate.
Thank you very much. You wanted to add something, Ambassador, please.
If you allow me, connectivity was mentioned here. I simply wanted to. Well, connectivity definitely has a lot to do with being successful in energy area. What I want to say is that we know about plenty of initiatives, corridors, connectivities, and so on. What is important to me, because I have the impression that at least partially, some of these initiatives may be looked at as kind of being in a competition. I think that ideally one should, when developing, launching an initiative related to connectivity, is to look at that through these initiatives to develop a mutually reinforcing network of connectivity. This is one very important point in my opinion. And second, coming back to the idea of taking into account initiatives, projects from the region. And I hope that back to the EU approach. There are two important projects which have been developed within the Black Sea Economic Cooperation Organization, the so-called Black Sea Ring Highway and the motorways of the sea. These are two projects. A lot of work has been done there, and I think that taking them into account and building upon rather than finding from the scratch something would be much more beneficial. That's all. Thank you.
Please.
Yeah, just a small step in. I would also say about the vertical corridor, because it's exactly what you just mentioned, Ambassador. It's connecting different type of sources. It's a cooperation on so many levels. Greece, Bulgaria, and Romania, Moldova, Ukraine. TSOs from all these countries, European Commission have worked together to provide this opportunity, and it's a tangible project that's already been implemented. By the end of this year, all the construction in Bulgaria would be done, which gives tremendous opportunity for different type of gas sources for the whole region in general. Thank you.
Because unfortunately, our time is up. I'm allowing myself to ask everybody in the panel if 30 seconds or 40-second short comment or conclusion is due. Otherwise, please, if you wish so, to add something to the words spoken already. If not, Excellencies, Minister, Mr. MAXIMESCU, thank you very much. Thank you very much for being here. Allow me to announce that in just 10 minutes, after a very short break, the chair will be taken by Ion Ionita, senior editor of Adevărul newspaper, who will conduct the next panel, the Danube Corridor, Strategic Artery for Infrastructure and Security in Europe, with, of course, very relevant and distinguished guests. Thank you very much for being with us today.